You're here basically, right? You live here. You're part
Most
of
of
the
the time,
system
yeah.
now.
Yeah, really. I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I integrated.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's pretty much based on money. The system here.
It is.
Yeah.
The system is completely based on money.
Yeah.
The studio system. That some of your worst nightmares were real at the time, and you think,
Mel Gibson's blacklisting wasn't about a drunken rant. It was about the list of names he wouldn't shut up about. Everyone assumed Hollywood's biggest outcast was just another fallen star, until the prison release dates started shifting. The redacted files dropped and the men who once called him a liar began sweating over what he buried in old interviews. Right now, sources inside the FBI's document review are saying the 1996 complaint against Jeffrey Epstein, the one that named stolen images arson threats and a victim the Bureau ignored for 23 years, wasn't the first leak. It was the confirmation that the system works exactly as Gibson described. Diddy's prison exit date just got moved up again with no explanation. 500 pages of Epstein's files remain blacked out despite federal transparency laws. And Oprah Winfrey's team still won't address why she kissed Harvey Weinstein on camera, the same year his victims started coming forward. The math doesn't add up. If the FBI had everything in 1996, why did Epstein's operation keep running? If Diddy's appeal is just procedural, why are his release dates being recalculated like a backroom deal?
Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
The cracks are showing, but the real fracture isn't in the documents. It's in the silence of the people who were supposed to stop this decades ago. And the next set of files isn't just coming. It's being unlocked by someone who's already decided who gets blamed the moment Sean Combs, better known as Diddy, was let out of that Manhattan courtroom in handcuffs last September. Music, the industry breathed a sigh of relief. Convicted on 2 counts of transporting individuals across state lines for what prosecutors called commercial exploitation. His 30-month sentence was supposed to be the end of it. A neat package scandal, a fallen mogul, a cautionary tale, the system working as intended. But then the release date started changing. First it was May 8, 2028. Then June 4th. Now it's May 25th with no explanation from the Federal Bureau of Prisons beyond recalculations. That's not how this works. Prison math isn't some abstract equation. It's a fixed countdown, unless someone's adjusting the numbers. And the people watching this unfold aren't just lawyers or reporters. They're the same insiders who remember how Combs' legal team tried to shut down Netflix's The Reckoning before it even aired, calling it a shameful hit piece built on stolen footage. The docuseries, executive produced by his longtime rival.
you can't build a resentment about it. You have to still try and love those people.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they're thinking.
Because it ain't personal.
No, it's not personal. They don't really mean to hurt you.
No.
Not really.
His longtime rival, 50 Cent, didn't just recount the allegations. It showed Combs in a New York hotel room ranting at his defense team in the days before his arrest. Footage his lawyers still insist was illegally obtained. Netflix called it legally sourced. A federal judge called it admissible. But the real question isn't about the footage. It's about who leaked it and why the streamer's CEO, Ted Sarandos, was allegedly so eager to greenlight a project that Combs' team claims was corporate retribution for rejecting a prior deal. Here's where it stops making sense. If this was just another celebrity takedown, why did Call's prison paperwork suddenly become fluid? Why did his legal team, who've spent months screaming about due process, stay silent when the release date shifted not once, but 3 times? And why just last month did the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department quietly open a new misconduct battery probe into Combs, despite his current incarceration?
Because I knew that I didn't want to work with him.
Yeah.
And he was getting scary.
Yeah.
And then I turned around and it was on top of the Peninsula Hotel. I turned around to avoid his steady gaze at one point.
Yeah.
And I was looking at a building with the top of the 6s on it. So there was a huge illuminated triple 6 in red.
Yeah.
And I went from that to that to that, and he started smiling. And I thought, oh no, Chris Walken is the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Despite his current incarceration. That's not how investigations work when the subject is already locked up, unless someone's laying groundwork for what comes next. People close to the situation say the timing isn't random. Combs' appeal is moving faster than most federal cases, with his lawyers arguing that the trial judge acted as a 13th juror. But the real urgency isn't about overturning a conviction. It's about controlling the narrative before his son's Zeus Network docuseries drops in 2026. A project Combs' team insists is an intimate family portrait, while industry sources call it damage control with a camera crew. 50 Cent's reaction says it all. "Wow, I want to see this show. I'm not sure this was a good idea." That's not skepticism. That's a man who knows how this game works. And then there's the Epstein files. The Department of Justice's December release was supposed to be the final word. A transparency victory after years of stonewalling. 500 pages blacked out. Entire grand jury transcripts redacted. Photos of Clinton in a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell. Travel documents for Gates and Allen. And most chilling, a 1996 FBI complaint from a woman named Maria Farmer, who accused Epstein of stealing explicit images of underage relatives and threatening to burn her home to the ground if she spoke up. The Bureau had it all. Names, dates, specific threats. They did nothing for 23 years. Now, the same agency is telling Congress that the redactions are required by law, while victims' attorneys call it a deliberate obstruction. The math is simple. If the FBI had this in 1996, Epstein's operation could have been shut down before it metastasized. Unless someone wanted it running, that's not a conspiracy theory.
Ethos, or somebody once said my problem was I didn't understand the social contract. Yeah.
The connections are there if you follow the breadcrumbs.
Theory. That's a pattern. Mel Gibson saw it coming. Back in 1998, fresh off the success of Braveheart and Lethal Weapon, he sat down for an interview that would later be edited, clipped, and weaponized against him. But the full transcript, the one that never aired in its entirety, music paints a different picture. He wasn't just ranting about Hollywood's weird, paranoid energy. He was describing music, a machine. "You think you're imagining it," he said. "Then you find out later down the track that you were exactly right." Music. He talked about parents dropping their kids off at auditions that weren't auditions, about directors who weren't just creepy, they were protected. The industry called him unstable. Then he promoted Sound of Freedom, a film about human trafficking that theaters allegedly sabotaged by turning off air conditioning and ejecting viewers mid-screening. Jim Caviezel, the film's star, later claimed in a post-Reddit speech music that these kids are more powerful than cartel kingpins, presidents, or tech billionaires. The line was dismissed as QAnon-adjacent rhetoric music, until Gibson's own promotional video for the film resurfaced, where he called the project the real deal and warned that Hollywood doesn't want you to see this. That's not marketing. That's a man who knows the cost of crossing the wrong people. The connections are there if you follow the breadcrumbs. Combs' legal team screaming about stolen footage, while his release date gets quietly adjusted. Oprah Music Winfrey, who kissed Harvey Weinstein on camera in 2017, who promoted a Brazilian healer, later convicted of serial assault, who's never explained why her South African girls' school faced abuse allegations from students as young as 12. Staying silent as Seal's Instagram post from 2017 resurfaces. "Oh, I forgot. You'd heard the rumors but had no idea he was actually serially assaulting young starried actresses. No denial, no lawsuit, just radio silence from a woman who built an empire."
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know.
The final piece of the puzzle.
From a woman who built an empire on moral authority. And then there's the Sound of Freedom music sabotage. The Epstein files missing pages. The way Gibson's warnings from decades ago suddenly look less like paranoia and more like prophecy. This isn't about one predator or one cover-up. It's about a system where the rules bend for certain names' music, and where the people who speak up end up like Gibson, blacklisted, smeared, and replaced by performers who know better than to ask questions. But the most damning piece isn't in the court filings or the redacted documents. It's in the reactions or lack thereof. When Combs's bodyguard, Gene Deal, testified in a separate case that Oprah was present at Combs's infamous freak-off parties, not a single A-lister came forward to deny it. When the Epstein files dropped, the names that should have sent shockwaves, Clinton, Gates, Allen, were met with crickets from the people who partied with them. And when Gibson's old interview clips started recirculating last month, the response was an outrage. It was nervous laughter from the same executives who once called him a liability. That's not coincidence, that's coordination. The question isn't whether the dots connect. It's who's holding the pen. And that's before you get to the numbers that don't add up. Combs' 30-month sentence for crimes that under federal guidelines could have carried far more time. The 500 pages of Epstein's files that remain classified despite a federal Transparency Act. The way Gibson's career tanked overnight while the men he accused kept working. Even the timing of Combs' son's docuseries Music 2 years before his scheduled release feels less like a family project and more like a trial balloon. A way to test how the public will receive him post-prison. 50 Cent's caution wasn't just about bad optics. It was about the unspoken rule of these situations. You don't rehabilitate the image until you're sure the system will let you. And right now, someone's making sure the system stays in place. The final piece of the puzzle isn't in the documents or the courtrooms. It's in the silence. The way Oprah's team won't touch the Weinstein photo. The way Combs...
That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
The way Combs' lawyers aren't fighting the new LA probe, just letting it sit in the background like a ticking clock. The way Gibson's warnings about Hollywood's dark habits were dismissed as the ravings of a troubled man until the files started proving him right. There's a reason the Epstein documents are still being redacted. There's a reason Combs' release date keeps shifting. There's a reason no one in power is denying the worst allegations. They don't have to. The system protects its own. Music. And the only thing more dangerous than the truth coming out is the truth getting out while the wrong people are still in control. What happens next isn't about justice. It's about music timing. Combs' docuseries drops in 2026. His appeal could wrap before then. The Epstein files are still being reviewed with more redactions likely. And Gibson, he's not just promoting films anymore. People close to him say he's working on something bigger. A project that ties together the names he's been dropping for years. The same names that keep appearing in the files, the courtrooms, music, and the hushed conversations behind closed doors. The question isn't whether the reckoning is coming, it's who's going to be left standing when it arrives. And right now, the men in charge are the ones adjusting the prison release dates. That should tell you.
And I've often felt it. I've sat there, and I have felt the knife slipped firmly in between my shoulder blades and tried to have it shoved through the other side through my heart.
Should tell you everything. The deeper you dig into this, the clearer the pattern becomes. The men who run this industry don't just protect each other. They engineer the silence. Take Oprah Winfrey, a woman who built a billion-dollar empire on the idea of truth-telling, only to find herself at the center of the same web of complicity she claims to fight. When Seal posted that meme in 2017, when you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution. With a photo of Oprah kissing Harvey Weinstein, the response wasn't denial. It was radio silence. No lawsuit, no statement, not even a carefully worded misunderstanding. Just the kind of quiet that only comes when the accusation hits too close to home. And music.
Yeah. You know? And if I can't fight for them coming up behind me, then what am I doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah. In music, then there's her history with John of God, a man she introduced to millions as a miracle healer in 2012. By 2018, he was facing hundreds of assault allegations, including physical assault and forced abortions. Oprah's reaction, a single statement expressing sympathy for the victims, no apology for her role in legitimizing him, no explanation for why she never questioned his methods. That's not oversight. That's a habit. And habits like that don't form by accident. Then there's the way she handled the allegations at her South African girls' school where dormitory staff were accused of abusing students as young as 12. The official line was outrage, swift action, a commitment to justice. But the lawsuits told a different story. Former employees claiming Oprah's team knew about the environment and did nothing until the press got involved. That's not a mistake. That's a calculation. The same calculation that lets her interview Weinstein's accusers on camera, while never addressing her own photo with the man.
I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
While never addressing her own photo with the man. The same calculation that keeps her name out of the Epstein files despite her proximity to the same circles. The question isn't whether she knew. It's whether she needed to know. Because in this industry, ignorance isn't just a bliss. It's a business strategy, and that's where the real money is. Not in the scandals themselves, but in the control of who gets to talk about them. Look at how 50 Cent's reaction to Diddy's son's docus